Day 2. Vatican to see the Pope. To see the Pope. Theoretically, you need to ask for a free invitation. There is a whole process. But you can see him without the invitation as well. The difference is that you have to stand up. If you want, you have to go a day before to ask for an invitation, if you still have one, to stay seated. If you get an invitation online, you have to pick up the invitation at Portone di Bronzo, which is where the columns are, on the right side of Piazza San Pietro. You can pick up one day before from 15 o'clock to 19 o'clock, or on the same day from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Still, without an invitation, it is very good to see the Pope. Let's say you go without an invitation. Arrive very early and stay near the playpen to see the Pope at that distance. Set aside all morning for this. General audience, every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. in Piazza San Pietro, the Udienza Generale takes place. Check the Pope's agenda first because sometimes the general audience is canceled or the Pope is on a trip. But sometimes the Pope passes a little before the time, so get there first. In winter or when it is raining, the audience takes place inside the Vatican, in the Sala delle Udienze de Paolo VI. On this day, the entrance is on the left side of the basilica at the Petrian entrance where the Swiss guards are. The Pope passes as a Pope-mobile among the faithful in Piazza San Pietro waving. Then he speaks a few words, translated into several languages, and gives the blessing to the gifts and objects brought by the faithful. To enter Piazza San Pietro on the day of the Udienza Generale, it is necessary to go through the security check and to have shoulders, cleavage, and legs covered. Camino Pella, Via della Conciliazione. Via della Conciliazione, there are several tobacconists, small restaurants, 2 water fountains to fill the bottle and stools to sit on. When you arrive at the traffic light on the avenue that separates this part of Castel Sant'Angelo, take a photo of the Vatican, as it is the most beautiful point. Castel Sant'Angelo and Ponte Sant'Angelo Castel. Sant'Angelo was built in 123 AD to be the mausoleum of Emperor Hadrian and his family. Most of the monuments from this same period have become ruins, and Castel Sant'Angelo is the only one that still remains. You can buy the Castel Sant'Angelo ticket in advance. I recommend it. But honestly, if you are short on time after visiting the Vatican, this is a visit that can be skipped. In front of Sant'Angelo Castle is the Sant'Angelo Bridge with Bernini's 10 Angels. This is one of the best views of the castle. Via Largo Gotovere Via Largo Gotovere connects Castel Sant'Angelo to the Palace of Justice. There are several cheap souvenir stalls and tourist buses hindering the view of the street. If you want to take religious souvenirs much cheaper than the ones in the Vatican, but without the Pope's blessing, fridge magnets and other souvenirs from Rome, this is the perfect place. Piazza dei Tribunali. The Palace of Justice, designed by architect Guglielmo Calderini and built between 1888 and 1910. It is the grandest of the new buildings that followed the proclamation of Rome as the new capital of the new Kingdom of Italy. It's just to look at it from the outside. Umberto I Bridge. The Umberto I Bridge was designed by architect Angelo Vescovali and built between 1885 and 1895. It was dedicated to Umberto I, King of Italy, who inaugurated it with his consort, Margaret of Savoy. It connects the Palazzo di Giustizia to the Piazza Navona area. The photo from the bridge to the Vatican looks great, especially at the end of the day. Piazza Navona is beautiful. There are incredible works in it. The Fontana del Moro, the Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi, 4 rivers, and the Fontana de Calderari, Neptune. In front of the Fountain of the 4 Rivers is the Church of Santa Ines in Agony, which is one of the examples of Baroque architecture in Rome. Next to the church is Palazzo Pamphili, where the Brazilian embassy is located. And next to the church is the Ristorante Tre Scalini that sells tartufo. Tartufo is a classic sweet from the Roman and Italian tradition. According to the Ristorante Tre Scalini next to the church, it was invented by the family and is therefore known today as the Tartuffe Tre Sacalini. The original recipe for tartuffe is from 1946, created by the Ciampini family. It's in Piazza Navona. To this day, it continues to be prepared according to the original recipe by the pasticcieri masters of Tre Scalini, which mixes 13 types of Austrian chocolates. It costs €6 if you order to take away or €12 if you eat at the restaurant. Campo di Fiore is a square, and in its center is the statue of Giordano Bruno, a philosopher who was convicted of heresy and burned by the Catholic Church in the same place where they built the statue. In the past, there was a flower market there, hence the name Campo di Fiori, Field of Flowers. But today there is a daily traditional fair of flowers, fruits, typical spices, etc. The fair runs until 1:30 p.m. After 6 p.m., the square gets busy because of happy hour. There are several restaurants around it, and nearby is Via Giulia, the one full of climbing plants that fall through the bridges and walls of the street. This street is only really beautiful to see between the end of spring and the end of summer. Outside of that, it's pretty boring. The Pantheon is the best preserved Roman monument. It was rebuilt by Emperor Hadrian between the years 118 and 128 AD after having suffered a fire that left few traces of the original construction, dated 25 BC. It is located in Piazza Rotonda, the one that has become a fever for influencers to make videos eating pasta, and is open until 7 p.m. But try to arrive with light because in the middle of it there is a hole that enters light and it is very beautiful. There are several bizarre urban legends of this place. To get in the mood, take the Pantheon virtual tour. It is necessary to schedule the visit through the Pantheon website if you intend to visit on a weekend or holiday. To eat and drink nearby is La Casa del Café, formerly Café Tazza Duro, which is said to be the best coffee in the world. If you don't like strong coffee or prefer more coffee than espresso, order a lungo, long coffee. Go straight to the cashier, pay, take the token, and then go to the counter and place your order. You will drink at the counter, because that's how Italians appreciate a good espresso, with S anyway. Prices range from 1.80 to 2.60 euros. There is also Al Antico Vinaio and Antica Salumeria. Both sell neat sandwiches to eat on the street. The price is almost a plate of food, but if you have to share, it's worth the snack. Gelateria della Palma Gelateria. Della Palma is a gelateria, ice cream parlor, with more than 30 years of tradition, famous for offering more than 150 different flavors. It's a temptation to get ahead and a drama to choose the flavor. It costs between 3 and 15 euros depending on the cone. Not that I have to go, but here's the tip that it's on the route. Piazza di Montecitorio, Piazza di Montecitorio, or Piazza Montecitorio, is a tribute to Montecitorio, one of the smallest hills in Rome. It is mainly known for housing the Palazzo Montecitorio, which is the seat of the Italian Chamber of Deputies. This palace was an imposing building commissioned by Pope Innocent X as the residence of the Ludovisi family, completed by the architect Carlo Fontana. Piazza Colonna and Colonna de Marcus Aurelius. Piazza Colonna is a square in the historic heart of Rome, Italy. Its name is a reference to the column of Marcus Aurelius, which has been in place since 193, without the 1193. The bronze statue of St. Paul at the top of the column was placed there in 1589 by order of Pope Sixtus V. Chiesa di Sant'Ignazio di Loyola. The Church of St. Ignatius of Loyola was built in 1626 in the same building as the Roman College, an institute of Jesuit education, founded by Ignatius of Loyola in 1551. The same as the Society of Jesus that took the Jesuit missions to the Spanish and Portuguese colonies. The church is beautiful, but the big attraction is the ceiling with an optical effect painted by André del Pozzo, a three-dimensional art that gives the impression of the ceiling being higher than it is. Currently, there is a mirror that facilitates the visualization of the painting. And just put a €1 coin for the painting to be illuminated. Admission to the church is free. Fontana di Trevi, the Trevi Fountain, is the largest Baroque fountain in Italy. It is 26 meters high and 20 meters wide. It began to be built in 1732 by Nicola Salvi at the request of Pope Clement XV, but was only completed in 1762 by Giuseppe Panini. The Trevi Fountain receives water from the Aqua Vergine, one of the oldest aqueducts in Rome. The middle statue is Neptune, not Trevi, as many may think. At night, it is also beautiful, full of lights. And don't let the tradition pass. Flip the coin. They say whoever plays returns to Rome. To eat and drink around the fountain, there are several ice cream parlors where people take the opportunity to cool off in the summer heat and take the famous Instagram photos of the gelato with the fountain in the background. Don't buy souvenirs in this area, as everything is expensive. At Il Gelato di San Crispino, they are famous for having different flavors of ice cream, and it costs from 2.70 euros. They say that the best is the pistachio of Bronte, where the best pistachios in Italy are located. At La Prosciutteria, there are several types of ham sandwiches, read prosciutto, say prosciutto, salami, etc., and prices start at 5 euros for the small, 10 for the medium, and 15 for the large. Even if you don't eat in this place, it's worth going to see it because it's very photographable. Staircase of Trinità dei Monti in Piazza di Spagna is the famous staircase of Trinità dei Monti that ends at the Church of Trinità dei Monti at the top. At the foot of the staircase, there is the beautiful Fontana della Barcaccia by Bernini. And still in the Piazza, in front of the Fontana, you can see the Spanish embassy, which gives its name to this famous square in Rome. Right in front of the stairs, you see the Via dei Condotti, where are the high fashion stores such as Gucci, Valentino, Armani, and many other well-known ones, and from where is the best photo of the square, both from the street and from the top of the church to this street. To eat and drink at Pastifizio Guerra, open until 7:30 p.m. There are small plates of pasta with sauce, and every day the flavors change. It only has an option to take away. It costs €4 and is easy to find, as there is usually a queue. It costs €4.50. And on the same street is Pompi, which has been selling the best tiramisu in Rome since 1960. This is a very famous typical Italian sweet made from mascarpone, a well-known cream cheese, chocolate, and coffee. It costs €5.